Welcome to the Digital Glossary series for senior leaders. Today we'll be looking at part 2 of our lead generation marketing series, specifically targeting how to diagnose your lead generation marketing. We will do this in 5 simple steps. Step 1 is identifying how the leads got to your website. In this example here, we can see the majority of our leads came from display advertising. However, we also generated a large volume of leads from email, and we know that email as a channel for us costs very little and has an engaged audience. So we need to bear in mind the overall cost for that campaign as well. It's not that the display campaign underperformed, it actually generated a majority of our leads. But one thing we need to be careful of is the quality of those leads. How many of those are real, valid leads that became marketing qualified leads? Another thing just to be aware of is making sure that your traffic is correctly classified. So for example, tagging your emails or tagging your display advertising campaigns so that Google Analytics and your other web analytics tools know where that traffic has come from. Step 2. What did the visitors do to become leads on the website? In this example here, we've been able to tag all of the forms on the website so we know which form has generated our leads. We can see that the maturity benchmark or the maturity assessment activity has generated a majority of our leads, followed very closely by our industry report. Just be aware, if you're also promoting the marketing assessment and the industry report, they will generally speaking generate the majority of your leads. So keep an eye on how much these campaigns are costing you. As long as their cost per lead meets your target, then all things are good. Step 3, monitor the share of visits versus the share of leads. So based on your channels, look at the total volume and work out the percentage share for each of those channels. Where blue is higher than yellow, you have more volume than you do leads. However, the challenge here is to focus on driving conversion or improving the targeting of that channel. Where yellow is higher than blue, if you look at the email channel, there is actually an opportunity to drive more volume. So if you look at the email channel, there are 14% of all traffic came from that channel. However, a massive 22% of all the leads came from that channel. The referral and social channels also delivered well, with social really punching above its weight. It only delivered 3% of traffic, but nearly double that in the number of leads it generated. However, that doesn't mean the display campaign is ineffective. What you tend to find is with the large volume campaigns with a large share of visitors, you tend to have a smaller share of leads. That's because you're attracting brand new people to the site who don't know you or your brand or your offering. So this could be a new experience for them, and they might come back through another channel such as social. Step 4, look at specifically your paid campaigns. And the reason for doing this is because these campaigns cost you money. But the great thing about that is you can do one of two things. You can stop the campaign immediately and it will cost you no more money, or you can re-divert those resources and money into other campaigns that are performing well. Another good thing to do is to come up with a naming convention. In this example here, we've got a maturity campaign that's running both on display and paid social. We can see the display campaign has generated a majority of our leads. And we can also see display is working in industry reports, but overall, we can see the maturity campaign has generated the majority of our leads. Volume doesn't always equate quality. So keep an eye on the cost per lead, and if you can, work that back to a cost per qualified lead to understand the true contribution of these campaigns. Step 5, look at your cost per lead for your paid campaigns. Here we can look at the media cost and divide that by the total number of leads we got. We can see our paid social maturity campaign actually is more effective than our display maturity campaign. In step 4, we could see that more leads were generated on the display maturity. However, the cost per lead is certainly better on the paid social campaign at only £75 a lead. So here, the simple answer would be to invest further in the paid social campaign and potentially take that from the display brand awareness campaign, because that cost per lead is significantly higher. We've also got some great text ad activity running with cost per leads of £25 to £30. So we could invest further with those campaigns, potentially taking the money away from the webinar and the demo campaign. Okay, so to wrap up, we looked at 5 things. We looked at where your traffic came from, what they did and what they engaged with on the website, the share of visitors versus the share of leads, and how that can unpick your overall channel performance. Specifically looked at the generation of leads from paid campaigns, and finally wrapped up with the cost per lead of your individual paid campaigns. Thanks for listening. Find out more at We Are Crank.